Today, President Trump will meet with a bipartisan group of House lawmakers to discuss issues such as health care, DACA, and tax reform. This morning, the president tweeted, quote, "The approval process for the biggest tax cut and tax reform package in the history of our country will soon begin. Move fast, Congress." Last night, Mr. Trump hosted several senators at the White House for a dinner to discuss taxes. Senator Joe Manchin of West Virginia was among three Democratic senators to accept the invitation. He joins us now from Capitol Hill. Senator Manchin, good morning.
Good morning, Charlie. How are you?
How was dinner?
It was good. It was a really good dinner. Always a good dinner at the White House. That was my first dinner, sit-down dinner, so it was excellent.
With any president or with this president?
Just this president. No, any president. This is the first time that I've gone to a personal sit-down dinner. I've been to state dinners, things of that sort when I was governor and all, but since I've been a senator, this is my first.
So with that opportunity, what did you hope to achieve, and did you achieve it?
Well, I thought it was a very open dialogue. It was very free-flowing, open. We talked about a lot of things. You know, infrastructure was very much on the president's mind and his staff, and we talked in depth about what we could do, the innovation and creation of the future and where we should be and what's going on around the world. And that was exciting, and I think that's going to happen. We're all committed to infrastructure. I said, potholes don't have a Republican or Democrat's name on it. They just need fixed. So that's what we're working on. We're talking about that. And then we got into the tax, and it got really interesting. I think they're very aggressive on this. They want it done. They want it in a bipartisan way. I thought it was very good for them to reach out to us. We had I think, an in-depth conversation on our concerns. The president was adamant this is not a tax cut for the rich. And that's exactly what people will portray, but he says it is not going to happen. I can assure you it's going to be mostly for middle class, the working people, or we're going to be competitive or globally competitive. So I'm anxious to see the results, and I've said my main concern was, Charlie, that no new debt. I mean, we're at $20 trillion. I have 10 grandchildren. I can't look at these beautiful babies and say, guess what we're giving you?
Well, Senator, I'm curious to see how that gets done with no new debt. That's always been sort of the sticky widget with tax reform. I mean, one of them, repealing the estate tax, that's going to cost and add about $270 billion over a decade. Would Democrats support that?
I don't think, you know, that's hard to support, just eliminating the estate tax or death tax as we know it. Right now it's at $5 million individually, $10 million a couple. Can that maintain? Could it increase a little bit and help those people, farmers and small businesses that want to leave them to their children? That's something we're all concerned about and we're looking at. They were very open. It wasn't like a closed, shut door, Norah. It wasn't like, this is it and this is what you're going to get. The tax rate, whether it be the corporate tax rate, it needs to be competitive, globally competitive. We talked about the global average. We talked about everything in depth to where they're willing to say, okay, let's look at this, how we make this work. But I thought it was very engaging. I enjoyed it.
Well, listen, I have to say it sounds very promising. You know, the president was unable to repeal Obamacare, dealing with only Republicans. Recently, he made a deal with the Democrats to lift the debt ceiling. Do you think that this is a new way of doing business for this White House? Gayle,
here's the way that we should be doing business in Washington. We should be looking at legislation that can garner in the Senate 30 Democrats, 30 Republicans. We're not going to get the fringes. We're just not going to do that. But we've got to find the middle for the sake of this country. And that's what West Virginians expect from me. That's what they want. And that's what we're looking to do. So
do you see this happening, Senator? Do you think that this is a new way of working in Washington? I know you say this is how it should be. Is this the way it's going to be, do you think?
Well, let's just say that he reached out to Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, and looking at making, I think that was a strategic move. It was a good move, saying, okay, we'll link both up 3 months.
So tell us what the deal is that can be made.
On taxes?
Yes.
I think first
Who gives
of all,
up what for what?
Well, first of all, tax reform or tax cuts, whatever you want to do, has to be done to where it stimulates the economy, grows the economy on a global basis. It's competitive. You know, we didn't create the market, global market, but we got to compete in it. Next of all, we can't continue to add to $20 trillion, so you have to be very sensitive. No more debt. You can't add on debt. We've got to see a pathway forward to start bringing this debt down and get ourselves fiscally responsible. And I think that's what that conversation was last night, and what I heard, willing to, willing to explore all avenues of this, understanding that Democrats, responsible, moderate, some of us conservative Democrats, who are looking for fiscal responsibility. You know, I've always said this, I'm fiscally responsible and socially compassionate.
Senator,
And
before
we're
you go,
looking-
we got to go. But before you go,
Yeah.
what was the menu? Chicken, beef, fish? What was it?
It was a medallion. It was a beef medallion, and it was well done.
Did you
well
have, Senator, I hate to pry. I really do.
medallion.
I hate to pry, but did you have 1 scoop or 2 scoops of ice cream?
No, we had, let me tell you, the ice cream was so perfectly prepared. The ice cream came beside the dessert, Gayle, and
Yes.
it looked like an egg. And I says, I wonder why I'm getting an egg with my dessert. And I cut into it, and it was a beautifully sculptured ice cream.
Okay,
Senator, I
but the
hope you
president
get
said to
another
love
invite.
desserts. Did he eat more desserts than you?
No, he did not. No, he did not. I think that is a misnomer.
You sound like a good dinner guest to me, Joe Manchin.
I know, right?
Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for all the details.
Yes. Bye.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.
It's important, Nora. It's important. We wanted to know.
Give everybody, take them inside the room. We thank you,
go.
Senator.